So I'm gonna just start. I've gotten to the point where I can just start making these videos just on compulse, where I can just start whenever an idea hits me, I just start recording it. I used to just write it down and then try to record it at a later date, but it seems like I never got around to it. And I'm just gonna start going off that list. This was not on that list because it just hit me. When it happened, I told myself I would make a video about it, but I haven't gotten around to doing that. Anyway, I mean, it's not... I don't really know how to make a video about this, really. Well, let me just tell you what happened, I guess. I think that'd be a nice way to start this. This was last year. This was winter of last year, just before Christmas break. I was in school. And, you know, back during my last couple of years in school, my daily routine was go to first period, sleep to first period, because both of my first period teachers didn't give a shit about their jobs. And I would take a NyQuil, and I would just sleep throughout the whole day. I would take a NyQuil as I was walking to class. I would stay up all night, and I'd take a NyQuil as I was walking to school. As I was walking to school, and I would sit down and I'd, you know, fall asleep for first period, and then second period I would walk to my class and I would sleep again. Second period, which I always had lunch between second and fourth period. I don't know how you guys have it, but I know in some places they do like 8 periods. Some people do 9 periods. Some people do 4 periods. That's what we have down here is 4 periods. I've lived in all parts of the United States, so I know. But here in Houston we do 4 periods. I shouldn't say we because I'm not in school anymore, but they do 4 periods here. Just 4, I think, 2-hour-long periods. And in between periods, like you take 30 minutes off of one period and then 30 minutes off of the next period. And anyway, that's when we would have lunch. And during lunch, I would just that would be my way of sneaking out. I had a hall pass that I got, and there were these cops that would sit around in go-karts around the school, just patrolling the place. I mean, it was a pretty gangster school. I mean, I was one of the only white kids there. Thankfully, I could rap, so, you know, if it wasn't for that, shit, I don't even know. But yeah, there were these cops that would patrol around, and my way of getting past them, I eventually didn't even have to show it to them, but I would just flash on this one hall pass that I got a lot. I got this one hall pass, and I used it for the rest of the year. I just used this one hall pass, and they didn't ever check it. They didn't ever check it from the date. If they ever did check it for the date, I'd be fucked. But they never did. And I would just flash this pass to them, and I would go on by. And I was, you know, I'm very respectful and I'm very nice. So they didn't, you know, I wasn't an asshole to them, you know. They were just like, oh, hey, you know, I was kind of friends with them. So anyway, I would go out, and I would sit behind the school, or I would go home, depending on whether or not my mom was there. In this particular case, she was not, and it was raining outside. So I knew it was going to rain that day. I would check the weather, so I put on an extra coat, and I had 2 pairs of socks on because it was fucking cold. And I would go behind. There was a little. Okay, it's hard to explain. There's like 2. Okay, it goes like there's a corner right here where like the corner of the school is. This is like behind the school. There's like a corner, but like right where the corner is, it like goes in and makes another corner in itself, and there's like 2 staircases. And that's where I would go. I would sit right there, and there was a little thing up top to keep me from being rained on all the way. There was still a little rain that would come in. But there were doors. But it was an exit out of the school, but fucking nobody would use this exit ever. So, you know, I would go back to sleep there, or I would continue writing, depending on, you know, how heavy the NyQuil was hitting me that day. I wouldn't ever take more than one NyQuil. It wasn't like oh, I'm addicted. It wasn't like that. It was just sort of just fucking so I could sleep. So there was nothing else to do. But I was writing, and God, it's hot. I need to take this beanie off. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Oh, my hair's even worse. Oh God. Should I put it back on? No, it's too hot. Probably go turn the AC on. Anyway, I hate getting sidetracked like this. So, but you guys say you like it, so I'm just whatever. So where was? Oh yeah. So it would go in, and I would sit there, and nobody used the exit. So I would sit there, and I would either write, or I would just sleep. In this particular case, I was kind of half and half. I was just kind of sitting there thinking. I hadn't really pulled my notepad out to write anything yet. I just kind of sat there and thought. And nobody ever really talked to me. Nobody knew who I was besides just the cipher kids. For the people who don't know what a cipher is, it's like a somebody comes in and puts on a beat, usually like a beatbox, and it's like a group of kids that get together, and we all just sort of spit bars back and forth. Besides the cipher kids, nobody even knew who I was. And shit, even half of them didn't know my name. And I was the only white one. So, I mean, as much as I'm against racism, it does exist. I can't lie and say that it doesn't exist. But, yeah, so I was here, and this exit opens up, and I was looking down. I had my hood over because it was raining, and it's fucking cold. It's winter in Houston, and it's raining, and I'm on concrete. And this door opens up, and I'm looking down. Now I have my iPod in. And now whenever you see me with I had the headphones of my iPod in. Now whenever you see me with them in, more than about 75, I'd say a little bit more than 75% of the time, I'm not actually listening to anything. I just have them in. Mainly so that people won't fuck with me. Mainly so that people won't talk to me and bother me. So, I was looking down, and whenever I have them on, I try to act as if I have music on. So, I was looking down, and I tried to pretend as if I didn't hear this person come up behind me. Okay, so how can I explain it? All I can see is this person's feet, okay? Now, this person comes up to the right of me. She lifts up my hood, okay? And I know it was a girl by her voice. For the life of me, I cannot remember what she said. I think she said, like, "Are you okay?" or something like that. Now, there were no windows on this door behind me, so unless she was, like, on the street corner or something like that, there's no way that she could have seen me. And even if she was on the street corner, why would she sit there on the street corner in the middle of fucking school, go into the school, all that shit just to sneak up behind me? Anyway, she just had colorful shoes on. They were like slip-on Vans, but they were all rainbowish, and they looked kind of like they had a I wouldn't say plastic, sort of like a sort of like a laminated finish on top of them, and they were like rainbow colored. It was all crazy colors. And I think she was kind of Mexican or something like that, because she had a skirt on, so she had all I really saw was like the middle of her shin down, but she had like a darker skin tone, like a Mexican or a really tan girl. I don't know, I couldn't tell, and her voice didn't really give it off either. She didn't have much of an accent or anything like. Well, I guess we're the ones with the accents. I guess everybody has an accent, because the English language is used in so many different places. So I guess everybody has an accent, but it wasn't different from the average American accent, so I couldn't really distinguish her race. All I really had on her were these shoes. Anyway, she lifts my hood up and she says, like, "Are you okay?" or something along the lines of that. And then before I have a chance to like look over or say anything, she just straight up kissed me. She kissed me on the cheek. She just laid one on me. And then she just ran in. She ran back in and closed the door. And to this day, I have no idea who it was. I have no idea. For the rest of the school year, I was always looking down, like whenever I would walk through the halls, I was always looking down for those shoes again, but I never saw them. It was to no avail. And I still think about that girl from time to time. I don't know who it was. I have no idea who it was. So there's that. Welcome to Travis's world. So yeah, I think I'm just going to start doing these more often. Usually I don't like flooding subscription boxes, but I don't really care anymore. Getting it out there, getting my stories out. So yeah, you guys have a good night.